And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it's Sunday? Yeah, it's Sunday. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of wrestling this weekend. We had Bash. We had No Mercy. We're going to talk about it. AEW was doing some things. So was TNA. Surprisingly, we have so much to talk about. Tyler, how you doing?
You're right. I'm well. We have Emergence from TNA. We also have... It's a loaded episode, Brad. Correct me if I'm wrong. GI at the movies?
Yes, sir.
So
yes.
I hear there's a promo of the week. And
Yes.
of course, we will fit in a Bachelorette recap before the season finale. I'm great. It was a good week of school. We're in full swing at the university. I'm taking my own classes. It's just take things one day at a time, Brad. I'm working on my to-do list and checking those boxes off. But it's Labor Day weekend. I'm so happy to see you. And like you said, we have a lot of great wrestling to discuss. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm glad it's Labor Day weekend. I need the break. That one day is going to make all the difference. I think just getting recharged for the next 4-week stretch where we'll power through into October and I guess 5-week stretch. And then we hit fall break and then we'll have another week off and it'll be another good chance for me to recharge because this is a lot. But like you, at that point, I will be starting my classes on top of everything else that's going on. It turns out taking on 4 different classes to plan, a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I just thought, oh no, it'll be easy. I'll just do this thing. It'll be super.
This guy, 4 different preps.
Yeah.
If I know one person that can pull it off, it's the man I'm staring at right now on the screen.
It's happening. It's going to happen. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure that everybody gets what they deserve in the classroom. And that's not a threat. That's a promise. But there was also a dead rat in my ceiling this week. So I'm going to take it as a sign of.
Did I know about that?
I don't know if you do.
Was that Monday? Thus probably easier for me to forget.
It was Monday
in the week.
I walked in after the long weekend to a very sour smell. And it lasted for a couple of periods. We actually left my classroom to go to the auditorium. So of course the days were totally lost for those 2 classes, but it was also cooler in the auditorium because at the same time the air conditioners went down for the, first time this week. Not the last time that last week. I know on Tuesday or Wednesday I came in and there were not 1 repair truck in front, but 5 district maintenance trucks parked in the front office. A water line for the air conditioner had broken in the front office and it was raining in there. So, the challenges of having a gigantic school that is not connected in any way outdoors in the middle of God's nowhere in the desert it's a lot. And, rodents are a part of the life out there and management is all about that. Luckily they knew that I had a pack rat before. Unluckily they didn't check the traps over the weekend or before the weekend. So it was probably up there dead on like Thursday. And then I found out about it on Monday morning. So
how's your
awesome.
positivity meter? We spoke about it last week. We need to know.
It was
you hanging in there.
It was definitely under pressure this week because the day after that I was like, all right, we're going straight into the bloodborne pathogens videos. We are not doing anything for the next 2 days, but you're going to watch what I watched and you're going to like it. And then you're going to get 80% on this test like I had to, and you're going to like it. And that's what we're going to do for those 2 days. And then we'll figure it out on Thursday. And I did that for those 2 periods that missed time because there was just no way to do what I wanted to do in 3 days. I needed every day that week because we had PD day on Friday. Great guest speaker. Really good to see all these other colleagues that I don't always get to see. Overall, I'm going to count like there's physical stuff that went wrong, but overall, I'm going to say that like this week was a win. We have a really supportive admin. We have really great people at district that have been very responsive and supportive. It's not like anybody's doing this maliciously. This stuff just happens. It sucks, but it's an old campus and Arizona isn't exactly handing over giant stacks of cash for repair for old buildings. It's just not the way it is out here. So we can, or I should say, replacement upgrades. Even though the auditorium's getting upgraded, it had to be a separate bond, and it's not a full upgrade. It's a mostly upgrade, but not a full upgrade. So to do everything justice in there, you probably have to spend what we're already spending, probably double it, do $1 to $2 million more to get it to where we actually need it to be a state-of-the-art facility that is up to date and will serve for the next 25 years without needing to be greatly updated. There's just who has $2 million to throw at ass school. So just not possible. So I have been focused on the kids, man. I know I'm going long here, but the kids are my positivity meter. That's it. And they've been, especially in the theater class, they have just been so locked in and so excited to do all these really cool things. Really good work with the welding program. That's happening this week too. We're going to be constructing a new front of our stage with them. And we're just doing a lot of really cool things that we've never had time to do. So the everything not being done and everything being broken is an opportunity for us. And I'll continue to look at it that way every time something breaks in my room, as an opportunity for a new idea and a new solution. And I don't have to take all of that. I can give it to them. Trust the kids, man. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, this generation and all this. It's like, this generation knows how to use YouTube. You might not like it that they're on their phones, but I guarantee they're going to find a video with a fix faster than any of us. So who cares? Like, just let them run with it. Give them the opportunity to show you that they can, and they will. And that's how I'm going to look at the entire year. When you ask how my positivity meter is, it's really high with the only thing that matters.
Wow. That's a bar. That's a great words to close on. I think, speaking of opportunities, Brad, this is an opportunity, a great opportunity, one may say, to introduce our first segment on this episode. I hear that you viewed a highly anticipated film and you are now ready to report your findings to us. I'm going to cue it up to you. Tell us what we got in store.
Tyler, I finally made it. It took a month. I contributed to the over $1 billion box office smash that is Deadpool and Wolverine. I got thoughts, so let's get into it. Play the music.
And now it's time for GI at the movies.
I've been waiting for this one for years. I really liked what they did with Logan. That was sort of a perfect ending to a beautiful film, a beautiful story. That character, kind of, it's hard to say which character it is because there's like 19 timelines, but that character, and it was like the first comic book movie that I ever really fell in love with outside of Spider-Man and Tim Burton's Batman movie. We hit a low point with those later Batman movies, and then they just sort of said, all right, we're gonna hit the brakes for a while on this. And then they did X-Men, and then we had Fantastic Four, and all various success points, and some of them good, some of them not good. And we had Punisher and all kinds of different stuff, all not owned by Marvel Studios. And a lot of those characters never really got an ending. They were sort of, Daredevil had a movie or two, I think only one, but Elektra got a spinoff, and those characters never really got to have their storyline wrapped up. And Blade had the Trinity movie with Ryan Reynolds in it, and that Blade character, that Wesley Snipes Blade, never really got an ending. And this movie gave all of those Fox property characters all endings, and it was marvelous. I don't know how much spoilers, if you care. I don't think you care, but like, spoilers for anybody listening. When Chris Evans shows up in the dump, which is essentially where people get sent when it's a whole thing with time travel. I don't want to get into it right now with the TVA. If you've seen Loki, you know what I'm talking about. And all these Fox characters are sort of relegated to the dump, and Chris Evans shows up and is like wearing all these raggedy clothes, and he's got like his blue arms, and his arms are wrapped in white, and you're like, oh, it's Captain America down here. That's really cool. And then Deadpool gets really excited. He's like, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say the thing. He's gonna say the thing. He thinks he's gonna say like Avengers Assemble, and then instead he yells Flame On, and turns into Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, when he was actually Johnny Storm in the old film. So giving him a send-off, and sort of those movies, and a love letter to 20th Century Fox and what they did, while also sort of transitioning into the MCU now that Disney knows it. And then by the end of it, not really actually transitioning into the MCU. They're connected by the TVA, but otherwise they're not a part of it. They're in their own separate universe doing their own thing. So it was like a really beautiful send-off for these characters, where they all sort of get this happy-ish ending, and close the door on that chapter of kind of cinema history. So incredibly crass. I laughed a lot. A lot of it was me covering my head laughing, or just the jokes were they were a lot. Seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit after they canceled his film was great. It was really cool to see him get an opportunity to do that, and know that Ryan Reynolds had to improvise. The whole point was to make Tatum have like an almost imperceptibly thick accent, and then Reynolds going like, okay, who was your dialect coach? The Minions? Just roasting him.
I didn't realize Channing Tatum was involved in this.
Bro, there were so many cameos.
It's the year of Channing Tatum. He was in Blink Twice, which we talked about recently. Yep. He was in the wasn't there a space movie?
Yeah,
Fly Me to the Moon that he was in this summer. Okay. So yeah, lots of cameos, Tatum included.
Just so many cameos. Like the original Juggernaut from I think it was The Last Stand. I think it was X-Men 3 with the terrible helmet. That guy sucked. He was back with the terrible helmet. There were just characters from the X-Men movies that never got closure that were back. But yeah, when Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Garner walked out, and then Channing Tatum walked out, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Wow.
It was really incredible. Yeah.
Viewers.
Yeah. But then I also went with my father-in-law, man, and it was great. He really enjoyed it. But if you didn't see Loki, Logan, all of the MCU, the original Fantastic Four movies, Elektra, the original Blade, all of the old X-Men movies, I don't know if all of this is getting a payoff for you. It requires like 150 hours of movie watching.
It's kind of like wrestling in that way, is it not?
Yes, when you're
the
like
whole bloodline arc.
The entirety of this, or just going like, oh, they're finally going to pay off this feud from 15 years ago.
Right.
Like, oh man, like what if Kofi fights Brock again? Like that was what year was that?
We remember that
like
that Fox debut, and maybe 2018.
Got nothing. I couldn't tell you.
2017. I know it was at a taco truck that night. And I watched it. I remember that, but I don't remember the year.
I don't know. Like, are people going to remember how profound it is,
right?
Or how profound it should be when Sammy helps out the bloodline at some point?
We're gonna get that soon. I hope
so, man. So long story long, highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. Even if you don't know it, it's a lot of fun. But like, you at the very minimum, I didn't even mention the Deadpool movies. You had to have seen the first two to understand what was going on. But they did a great job of connecting the two universes and all of these other properties, and it was great. And obviously seeing Hugh Jackman finally in the yellow and blue suit, and then at the end of the film pull the hood on and wear the mask, the Wolverine mask. It was so great, so worth it. Glad I went.
Wow, it sounds like money well spent. And speaking of money, Brad, I know a way that you can potentially continue your movie theater fund going for you and either your father-in-law, or when you and I eventually see a movie together, whenever that may be. I know we're going to see Monday Night Raw. We're going to see professional wrestling live later this year.
Live Event Jones.
But these are not free opportunities. Live Event Jones. This costs money. And speaking of earning money, speaking of earning income, are you ready to elevate your fantasy sports experience with Prize Picks? I hope so. During the women's basketball season, you can win up to 100 times your money. Brad, imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping $1,000. You can see Deadpool many times over with that new cash. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Come on now. You already know women's basketball is on fire this season, with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names alongside the greats such as Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I love Angel Reese. I don't really have anything else to offer there.
That's it.
I just wanted to throw that out there. Caitlin
Yes,
Clark popped me huge in that presser this week. That would be my what did we miss?
What did we miss?
Yeah, that would probably be mine if I had any more than that.
Shout
Maybe
out to
Mark
Lexi
Briscoe.
Hole as well.
Oh,
and Brad Desmond and I, shout out to the great Desmond Powell, Hip to the Games. Shout out 19 Media Group. On our WNBA special last month, we spoke about the Indiana Fever and the fact that they're really good. Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston,
yes,
Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese, she's also doing her thing. And women's hoops, watch it, support it, talk about it.
So good,
Brad. The WNBA is where I want to be.
Yeah, it's so good, man. Well, I would have loved to have been in Berlin this week, and we're going to get into it. We got to talk about Bash in Berlin, my friend. It happened. What an event! I can't wait for the live event because Freya caught a lot of Bash in Berlin with me today. I saw most of it live as it was happening, but I missed basically the two matches in the middle. I saw Cody and KO live. I saw the women's tag live, but I had to go do something. I don't remember what happened. I missed the strap match. Oh, I know what happened. I went to Deadpool. I had to leave I had to go do some stuff and get ready. So I missed it. I also had my fantasy draft around that time too. So I missed Punk and McIntyre and then the Terror Twins. I got back in. Oh, I must have had to go do something else. In any case, I caught Gunther and Randy live, and I caught the end of Priest and Ripley winning. Tyler, what did you think about the event overall? And give me your thoughts on the matches.
Yeah. So I love that it started with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Brad, you and I always discuss predictable isn't always bad. Although this match was predictable, and we could totally foresee Kevin Owens viewing Cody as a friend and not wanting to go full Kevin Owens in this match. He had multiple opportunities to finish Cody out and become the undisputed champion, but he did not. He hesitated. I think he told Michael Cole and Wade Barrett to shut up at one point because they were saying, "What are you doing, Owens? You're blah, blah, blah." I think it was Wade Barrett actually who Owens came at. But alas, fun match. The crowd really elevated this contest.
Yeah.
Both guys super over in Berlin. Definitely 50-50 Jones. Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, all of that. Crowd elevated this. It was a great way to open the show.
Yeah, incredible. I really enjoyed the match. To your point, I thought it was great. And we knew that we kind of knew exactly what it was going to be going into it, but it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. Really strong way to open it. To your point, I don't know that I would move anything around on this card. If it were in the States, maybe I probably would have had Randy and Gunther somewhere else on the card with Punk and McIntyre main eventing in the strap match.
Sure. But there's no way you were doing that in Berlin. No, we knew what time it was.
Yeah, no chance I would do that in Berlin. What did you think about Bianca and Jade regaining the women's tag team titles against the Unholy Union?
I loved it. You could convince me that they should have never lost the titles to begin with. However, shout out to the Unholy Union
they won in Scotland, right? Like
having their moment. Yeah. Right. I'm all here for that. And the belts are on the right women now in Jade and Bianca. The match was fun. I believe Jade is appearing to be more and more comfortable. It's still a trip for me to recognize A, that Jade is in WWE, but that B, Jade and Bianca are a tag team. I'm enjoying it for now. I'm glad they're placed in a prominent role. In my mind, I'm trying not to rush my fandom into wanting to see the singles match, because we know, I would say, come WrestleMania 2025, that's going to be the move. So I really want to enjoy this tag title run. I hope it's as long as possible. Again, I'm glad Jade is appearing more comfortable in the ring and getting more matches under her belt. For Bianca, I don't want to say this run is beneath her by any means, because again, it's clearly setting up for the dream match against Jade, one of my dream matches. But I just want Bianca in a prominent singles role. I love that we're seeing two sisters come together, join forces, kick lots of booty. However, by 2025, I want Bianca back in the singles division, ideally with gold around her waist, because I am just such a huge Bianca fan. But in the meantime, this works. I'm glad they are champs again, and hopefully, just due to their star power, due to their in-ring work, due to their crossover appeal. I sent this to you, Brad. I saw Bianca pop up in Belair season 3. It was episode 7 or 8. I was like, oh, Bianca Belair cameo. I'm here for it. Due to all that they bring to the table, I hope that they're able to even elevate these tag belts, because these tag titles have had a really tumultuous history, a lot of stop and starts. If there were any two talents to elevate the belts, I believe it'll be Jade and Bianca. So I just hope this run is lengthy, and I hope by 2025 we get Bianca slotted in a meaningful singles run where she so rightfully deserves.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm kind of there already. I'm ready.
Are you really? I saw your reaction as I was speaking. It's not just me.
No, Jade continues to look better and better and more comfortable all the time. But what I noticed about Jade this time around is she just seems so sure of her character, and she's just so committed to that. My God, in a year, if she's not holding the title, if she's not holding both of the titles above her head, then I want my money back.
We're talking about Bianca or Jade?
Jade.
Yeah. And let's not forget.
I want Jade and Bianca to fight, but I want Jade to win.
For sure. And let's not forget when Bianca was in NXT, really not all that long ago in the grand scheme of things. It was very much giving powerhouse, very strong, very athletic. Yeah. But to your point, Brad, kind of piecing together a match. I mean, we've been watching wrestling so long that we've kind of been put on game from wrestlers speaking about the art form. It's kind of putting those pieces together from the beginning of the match, the entrance, which Jade phenomenal at, to the end of the match. 5 stars, it's about all those pieces in between. Bianca certainly improved and learned and is now one of the best women's wrestlers in the entire world. But that took time, that took reps. And Jade, to your point, a year from now, I think she's going to be in a great spot.
Yeah, and listen, man, like it's no different in there than it is in acting. Sometimes things break down, and are you going to pivot in character or not? You know, even watching AEW and the Grizzled Young Veterans after they attacked FTR, and I also wore this for the next match. One of them, not Drake, I can't remember his name. Gibson.
Oh, Zach Gibson. Liverpool's number 1.
Yeah, he started. He just started stomping on Dax, kind of in the middle of it. Like, yeah, it's been a while since I smashed him on his back. I should probably just beat him up a little bit more to make sure he stays down. I'm sure they didn't talk about it. It's just like he was there and it needed to happen, and he just did it.
I'm excited for that match.
And I think that just takes years and years and years of experience and reps to know, like, that happened in the ring. How should I pivot? And I go back to Montez Ford wrestling Roman Reigns when he tried to jump off the table and the table just fell apart. And he just stared at it and then was like, I guess I'm using the steps, and just did it. It was awesome. So I love being able to see that, but it just takes time. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre strap match. What'd you think?
The right guy won.
Yeah,
I'm happy that and this may be a surprise to folks who were listening as we were getting ready for SummerSlam. Big Drew McIntyre fan. Also really love me some CM Punk. I'm happy Drew got the win at SummerSlam. However, it made all the sense for CM Punk to get his retribution, to get his bracelet back, to get the win. He hit Drew McIntyre with 4 or 5 GTSs
throughout the whole match. Yeah, 3 at the end.
Yeah, it was given 2K. Just so many. Load the finisher, hit him with the finisher. But alas, like we said, CM Punk got the victory here. I have a question for you on this one in particular, Brad. Following the match, CM Punk told Kathy Kelly backstage that he's ready to put this feud behind him and challenge for a championship. And we know Bad Blood is on October 5th. So good match, grudge feud, one of the best rivalries in all of wrestling this year. I'm curious, would you rather see the rubber match between these two at Bad Blood in Atlanta? It's kind of in the title. It makes perfect sense. Or are you in fact ready to see Punk challenge a champion? We know he's on Monday night, so that champion would likely be Gunther.
I want to see that match because that match is going to be great if that happens. Like capital great, all caps. You have one of the best wrestlers ever, and also CM Punk. So, CM Punk is one of the greatest of all time, and he's really good because he commits again to character, and also because he knows how to work in a match as well as anybody has ever worked in a match. Like if he's healthy, he can kind of do anything in there, and him and Gunther would be incredible. I would love to see that, and I would love to see Drew cost him the match, and then they finish it off at Elimination Chamber or Hell in a Cell or something like that. But Bad Blood would make sense as a name to have them have the rubber match and finally have it be the end. And maybe they do a first blood match. Maybe they bring that back at Bad Blood, and that would make a lot of sense.
Wow.
The PG era is over. The Triple H era is on. They've done blood occasionally here, but like doing a first blood match at WWE would be a big deal. I think a lot of people would tune in to see it. And I think it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And if there's one rivalry befitting of that, it really is Punk versus McIntyre.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It struck me in that backstage because, to your point, Punk is a great worker in every sense of the word, particularly with the storytelling of it all. I don't think this is it. I don't think this puts an immediate halt on their feud, largely because, Brad, like any good rivalry in sports and combat, it's tied up right now.
Yep.
So I think we need to get, especially with both guys being healthy, that we know of as of this recording, we need to see that rubber match. The pay-per-view is befitting of it. And then after that, whoever wins, maybe they'll be next in line for Gunther. I don't think Gunther's dropping that title for a long time, by the way. Maybe not to WrestleMania. But the rubber match needs to occur at Bad Blood. I agree with you. I wouldn't be mad at Punk challenging Gunther at all. Like you said, very intriguing matchup. But I believe it's gonna start with the rubber match next, likely in Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think Drew's gonna let this go. To your point,
there's no way.
Somebody, yeah.
As petty as Punk is, I think Drew's right there as well. There's no chance.
The Terror Twins defeated the Judgment Day. I thought this was a lot of fun, and the right team won. Tyler, what'd you think?
I was actually surprised that the Terror Twins won. I thought ultimately we know the Terror Twins in this rivalry are going to get the best of Liv and Dom and the Judgment Day.
Maybe.
I just didn't think that first moment, that first victory was going to occur until at the soonest, again, the aforementioned Bad Blood pay-per-view or premium live event. I actually thought that Liv and Dom were going to take this win because we were going to get interference, and we did in this match. It just so happened that the Judgment Day interfered, Finn, JD, Carlito, and Damian Priest simply said, nah, take this kick, take this boot to the face. And then before we do it, the match was over. This was great. Perfect for a premium live event. They've really built up to this intergender match super well. Mixed Tag Jones. Super, super well. This could have even, main evented, I would say, depending on the show, just based on the heat and the stakes that we feel so personally involved with. This was fun. Like you said, super fun match. Great to place before the main event because you knew the crowd was going to be invested. This was not one where the crowd's going to take a snack break or bathroom break. We needed to see this. We need to see Rhea get her hands on Dom, which we did. I didn't think the Terror Twins were going to win so soon. I don't know if this was the right finish.
I thought it was obvious they were going to win. Like
really?
I didn't have a doubt in my mind. They've been taking L after L after L on TV week after week after week. They set it up so they telegraphed it so much that you knew they were going to win at this only because they wouldn't stop losing on television. They're constantly being attacked, being beat down, and everybody wants the Terror Twins to win, and they're being beat up and beat down and beat up. It's like old school wrestling 101 here. It was like, no, you make them pay to see them win.
Yeah.
So you do the PLE, make people show up for the PLE to finally see them get the win.
Right.
If this
I
were
thought we
on
were gonna get that in
Raw or
October.
SmackDown,
Yeah. I'm
nah,
glad we got it. I'm not mad at it. I was just genuinely, this was the most surprising finish to me on the card.
I don't think this is over. I think they're going to continue to get beat up. And then I think the Terra Twins add people to their little stable and somebody to face off. Like, I mean, people are coming back. Charlotte looks healthy. I doubt it will be Charlotte, but she looks healthy and she respects Rhea, I think, as a competitor. So I could see that. Alexa Bliss is closer to a return. No idea if Carmella's wrestling again, but I imagine that she's getting closer to a return if she plans on wrestling again. Who knows what Becky's doing? If she's staying, is she going? Her contract's up, but like I don't know that I see her wrestling for anybody but WWE. But who knows what will happen here? And who knows? Maybe they call somebody up from NXT to help out. Maybe Roxanne's the person. I don't know, but there's a lot of potential avenues for them to explore. I don't know what Raquel's health status is. I know she was having like some serious allergic reaction stuff for a long while, and I don't know if that's cleared up or if she's healthy and okay or what. But like she would be a good fit to help out there. And then I don't know what the guy is on that front. I mean, you can just go scoop kind of any rando, I guess.
I don't know that Damian Priest even needs the
that's
backup.
what I'm saying.
The way he took them out, I was like, yo, this he seemed like he didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, I don't really know who they would get. Like you go get Pete Dunne. I don't really know. I don't know who you would add to that little faction, but I can see them doing something inside of a cage or having something happen. I don't know. Or maybe this is just all leading to Elimination Chamber. I don't know, but I liked it. Finally, the main event, Gunther and Randy Orton, Tyler. No doubt in my mind what was going to happen here whatsoever, but it was a lot of fun. What'd you think?
This was a slog.
It was an incredibly slow match.
From jump. The entrances, particularly the Viper, I got to make sure he's nowhere to RKO me. The entrance for Randy Orton. Listen, I'm here for the vets getting their flowers and embracing it all. I love what's become of the Randy Orton entrance and all crowd singing his song. But they must have had at least 2 to 3 loops of In My Veins. It was way too much. Only 5 matches on a 3-something hour card. I really felt it during this main event, Brad. The entrance for Orton was just a lot. But again, happy he's getting the recognition, but we can just trim that down by about 20, 30 seconds. The match itself, very long. I would even say too long, but these are 2 great workers. Orton still has an absolute main event presence. You alluded to this earlier, Brad. Gunther being back in his home region was fantastic. He was very popular. Again, a lot of the crowd 50-50. Let's go Orton. Let's go Gunther. The crowd was up for this one, which I definitely believe enhanced the match. But overall, this was just too long for me. I think from the entrances to the actual in-ring work, we could have shaved this down by about 5 to 7 minutes, and I would have been even happier with how this concluded. But it was fun. Choking out Randy Orton, where he doesn't have to take a pin or tap, makes a ton of sense, especially if we're going to get Orton versus Cody Rhodes at some point, which I believe is the way they should go. Right finish, right guy won. I just don't believe it needed to be as long as it ended up being.
It was 1 hour and 37 minutes and 21 seconds of match time. I just did the math. That's what I was up to there. I was adding up the
and
time there.
Brad, I'm on the basic tier of Peacock. I'm going to put myself on blast here. So it's just a lot of ads. It's just a lot of wait time.
You're on the premium plus or whatever it is, not the premium plus.
No, I'm on the most basic tier.
Oh, so you have
access. I get the ads. Yeah.
Well, I get ads too, but I don't think you get WWE without premium plus. I'd have to look, but I get ads too because there's like premium plus and then premium plus no ads.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you have to have premium plus in order to get the Peacock thing or the WWE thing.
1 hour and 37 minutes of
it's crazy.
Work time for a 3-hour show. It's interesting.
Now I'll say I would rather it be that with a lot of breaks than what AEW sometimes does. But if I'm in my
10 matches.
and by sometimes I mean constant, but being in my house, I don't really care. I can go pee. I can get up, go to the kitchen. I can do all those things. So whatever. It's just hard with WWE because I'll walk away like, oh, here comes an ad. And then I come back and there's still doing promo stuff and there's an ad and there's another ad, but it's just them talking about the ad, not an actual ad. So it's it's confusing when I'm like, all right, when is the match coming on? It's been 20 minutes. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but it's about spectacle. It's always about spectacle with the WWE. So they're going to give us our entrances that take 20 minutes and, we get what we pay for. Usually, Tyler, we don't always get what we pay for. Sometimes we pay and we get nothing. Cue up the music. It's time for a promo.
And now, the promo of the week.
I have told you my woes. I actually tweeted it and then deleted it because I felt bad. Mostly because nobody liked it. And it was a long thread. Xfinity. I talked to Jess already about this. I have had Paramount Plus for years now, I believe. I think it was still CBS All Access, and it became Paramount Plus. And I had a subscription back then because there was some stuff that I wanted to be able to watch with Freya. There's Nickelodeon things on there. There's all kinds of things on there, and I wanted to keep it. So when I saw my cable bill was like $240 around there for cable, internet, all these other services, it's like, well, that seems dumb. So let me see if I can save some money. So I went on, I rearranged my packages, and Netflix is no longer included by itself. You can't pay for it through Xfinity and save money. You now have to lump it in with a package for $15 to get Peacock, which I get for free for having 1 gig service through Xfinity, and Apple TV or Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called, which I get because I have the family plan, and it's cheaper to have Apple TV on the family plan than to get rid of it. So I already have 2 of the things on this $15 tier. And then to add the 4K part to it, I'm not saving any money. But when I saw that Paramount Plus was $5 and I'm paying $13 through Paramount, well, yeah, let's do this. So I did it, and I canceled my my through Paramount subscription, and now I have subscription through Xfinity. I didn't know that I already had one for a year and was paying $13 to Paramount for no reason. They did not tell me they updated or upgraded the package to Paramount Plus is included. I was not informed of that. And yeah, I paid Paramount for over a year. So it's like $140 for nothing. So I'm trying to save $8 a month, Tyler. And what happens? Nobody at Xfinity has any clue how to hook up a Paramount Plus subscription. Nobody knows what to do. I have to go on these live chats and talk to these from India every single day for 2 weeks who go, try this. Let me read your previous chat so I can catch up. And the first thing they send me is the article that the first 8 people sent me that I said, this shit doesn't work. What else you got? And then they're like, well, just go to your apps and subscription. So I open up my apps and subscription, and you know what? There's nothing there. Okay, well, did you hook up the Wi-Fi to your X1 box? No. As nobody's ever told me to do that. No, I did not. And I said, would my DVR service even work if it wasn't hooked up to the internet? No, it wouldn't work if it wasn't hooked up to the internet. Well, my DVR doesn't have a problem. So I go check, go to your settings, find the Wi-Fi settings. I'm out there clicking around and stuff. And finally, I sit back down and I'm like, I'm just going to look this up. That box doesn't have Wi-Fi. Wouldn't you look on your end first to see if I got a box that has Wi-Fi on it before telling me to turn it on?
You would think so. It sounds logical.
This was the 3rd time I had done this. I started this chat at 4 o'clock, Tyler. I was not off of this chat until I think 6:45-ish.
That's too long of a chat.
And it was the last dude the last dude, after it's like, yeah, I can't figure it out. I'm going to send you to an expert. I'm going to send this in. Your expert team's going to take care of this. All these things. After all of that, where they're like, they keep telling me, try signing in with this username. I don't know if you've ever logged into Paramount Plus.
I have a subscription right now for Big Brother. Yeah.
What's your username?
Isn't
I'll help
my
you out. You
email
don't have one. You just have an email address.
You just have an email
That's
address.
right.
Correct. Yes,
Email
yes, yes.
address,
Yes.
password, the end. And they're
Correct.
like, use this username. Where would you like me to enter this? You want me to just like send it to Paramount and be like, here's my username. Is that good enough for you? Because I can't do this. Oh, you don't have an account there? Make one. Okay, now what? Because it says I got to enter my credit card information and now I got to pay for it. So are you helping me pay for something separately that I paid you people for? Don't offer a service if you don't know how to use it. Why are you offering this discounted service to people if you can't even log into it? Because you incompetent are just fleecing people for $5 a month in the guise of savings. And all it's doing is adding to my therapy bill. I hate you people. I hope you have the day you deserve. I hope it's filled with barefoot Legos. I'm canceling my subscription and I'm going back through Paramount. The end.
Under the guise of saving. Maybe that's their new slogan.
Yeah, like on a banner with some like the more you know music behind it.
Exactly.
Star going by.
Some SpongeBob back.
Bunch of pricks.
I don't envy you, my friend.
Yeah, because of this or because of how much editing I'm going to be doing tonight.
Both. Option C. That sounds horrid. I hope that the AEW programming you watched alleviated some of the stress, took away from some of this heartburn that Xfinity and their experts and enhancement talent put on you. With that in mind, I want to talk about
enhancement talent copy.
It sounds like you were working with a lot of enhancement talent.
Yeah.
We need to send you to our experts, but you were supposed to be an expert. What?
No, Chikatla was really nice, and so was Shivam and Saeed. All very lovely people.
Sure.
I treated them as kindly as I possibly could. I was ranting and raving in here, but I was like, I told the last dude, I was like, how's your morning going so far? So we're 12, weird, but 12 and a half, which was weird. Hours different from India. So I was just like, how's your morning going? It's like, great. Just got in, just started my shift, feeling energized today. And I was like, that's great to hear. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for helping me out. They're just doing their jobs, man. Xfinity's making me hate these randos.
That's true. I appreciate you turning that and focusing on the company rather than the employees. That's a good mindset.
Yeah, it's not them.
Yeah. Shout out to all of them. Maybe future trios champs. But there are trios champs, Brad, in AEW. I don't have them as part of my question, but we did need a transition. And here we are talking about wrestling. AEW. Here we go. Jon Moxley. He returned to Dynamite and successfully recruited Marina Shafir to join his possible hostile takeover of the company. This made you very happy, according to what I saw online.
Yes, it did.
Mariah May made her first on-screen appearance as champ. Ricochet and Grizzled Young Vets won their respective debut matches. And Hologram is still the most popular performer on Collision.
Man.
With all that said, who had the best week in AEW?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Oh, man. I don't even know how to answer that. It's got to be Grizzled Young Veterans because they were everywhere. They were fighting the Outrunners, which was awesome, by the way. I had so much fun watching that on Rampage. And then they were beating up FTR. They got promo time, too much weird promo time on Dynamite, where they went from like what they said about gritting their teeth to a promo with them backstage where they ended it with grit your teeth. It was a lot of teeth gritting, too much, too soon. But I'm going to go. It was the Grizzly Young Veterans only because they were a presence on every single show this week.
That's a just reason for it. I love the way you broke that down. Hard to argue with that, but I'll attempt to. Grizzled Young Vets for sure. I'm so excited that they're in AEW now, and
Pac
maybe
has a shout there too. Sorry.
yeah. Maybe
Or
they're the
Pac.
guy.
What are we calling him? What's correct? I think it's
So
Pac.
no, 100% it's Pac, but Tony Khan and others I've heard say Pac. So I'm like, wait, they know this guy personally.
There's only one Pac that I'm going to acknowledge.
Correct. I'm
Yes.
I'm almost positive it's Pac. Let's return to Pac. Good call. Grizzled Young Vets certainly make a case. I forgot to mention Hikaru Shida punching her
yes.
ticket to face Mercedes Moné in Chicago.
It's going to be so good.
It's already going to be this weekend. Hard to believe. I don't think she's beating Mercedes, but great for her to pick up that 4-way win on the
Be cool if
main
she
event of
did.
Collision. For sure. I really want to get your thoughts on Mox and this possible hostile takeover. And Marina Shafir could even make the case. Her being back on screen in a prominent role. Looks like she's going to have a great rest of the year. However, Brad, I also want to talk about Ricochet. Ricochet got to win. He's in AEW. Let's go.
Oh,
I'm gonna go.
Hilarious too.
I'm gonna go.
Chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that he just appears really free and able to exude who he is now. That being said, though, Brad, I'm gonna go with hologram, man. Maybe I'm just all about hologram this year. I shared with you on air that I was curious to see how his performance would translate to a bigger crowd once they left their series in Texas, their summer series, and it translated perfectly. Not only Texas, Brad, but Sioux Falls loves hologram. Biggest reactions of the night, in my opinion, from my couch, were for hologram in that multi-man match. I think it was a trios match or 8-man tag that we saw hologram in.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was
he
trios
tagged
or
with
8-man.
Orange and Kyle. I think it was a trios match.
Yeah.
Crowd ate up everything he did, all of his work, the entry. I mean, for me, hologram, I love your case of Grizzled Young Vets. They were on every show. They have a presence, big things in store for them. For me, it was hologram because I didn't know how it would translate to a bigger venue. If this is any indication, he's going to have a tremendous rest of the year. I want Ricochet versus hologram. I want hologram versus Jack Perry. I want more character development for hologram so we can really get invested.
Or just any at all.
Or just anything. But for now,
the
strut, the in-ring work, the crowd reaction, it's really working for me, and he's my biggest winner this week.
Yeah, I can't necessarily argue with that too much. Orange Cassidy had a great week too, and so did Takeshita. So there's a lot of people that got to, all the women in the Fatal 4-Way got to show out, and I was like, man, any one of these women could win, and I wouldn't be mad.
Definitely. What'd you think about Mox?
I'm excited to see what happens. I don't know, but I'm excited to see what happens because this is kind of like, I think this was the original intent with the Blackpool Combat Club because she wanted to do you remember like the original interviews? He said he wanted Marina Shafir. Like that was always that plan. And now that the BCC is sort of like, is it still together? They still say of the BCC, but like Claudio and Wheeler are doing their own thing. And
they have a new partner now.
Yeah. And a really bad guy. And Danielson is, he's champ over there on his own. Mox just showed up and he's doing his own thing and he looks even more combat than usual. And he's playing the New Japan heel guy. So Marina Shafir coming up and just being those shoot fighters, those shoot badasses, I think was the original intent with BCC. And I have a feeling that that's what's going to be, is he's going to walk out and go like, if they go like, hey, what's going on with you? He's just going to go, you're not doing what we set out to do. You stop being that thing. I'm here to beat people up. I'm not here to just be the best wrestler. I'm just here because I can beat people up. And that's it. He's like taking over because he's like, we're not an alternative anymore. I don't want to do something a slightly different way than the other company that I left. I'm here to fight. And that's what we're here to do, is fight. I would love to see that. And just him just show up and just start punching people. Like, I'm good with it. We know he won contests and stuff. So real life, I think it was jiu-jitsu, right? Contests. It was judo or jiu-jitsu. I can't remember which one, but he won. Like,
certainly Shafir has that background, and
yes, she's legitimately a fighter. She goes in there barefooted for a reason. And people don't like watching her matches because they're not traditional wrestling matches, because she's actually putting them in real moves and not stuff that you can, like reversing a figure four. I don't know if this is spoiling something for somebody, doesn't do anything. It's just the same thing, but upside down. It's all about acting. So you can't reverse the stuff she puts you in. You just get dead. Like that's it. So I've always liked watching her wrestle. It's just been figuring out like what kind of character is she, and she's better when she doesn't say anything. I don't need her to. Like treat her like China. Have her go out there and do that. And when she does say stuff, she's great on the mic. They just had her like that phase like a year ago where she's wearing a stupid hat around. The hell was that? Why are you putting Marina Shafir in a hat? It's like it works for some reason with why can't I think of his name right now? With Jake, it works with the Garcia hat. I like this hat, like because it's dumb.
Yeah, Jake Hager.
Yeah, that worked because it was so silly.
Right.
It wasn't silly with Shafir. It was like this is just dumb. Why are we doing this with her? So I'm stoked for this, dude. I can't wait to see what she does.
She really needed something meaningful to return to, and as did Moxley, even though he's had one of the most storied careers in AEW. One may even call him the face of AEW.
The ace.
He needed something. Yeah. Well, yeah, the ace. There it is, right? The ace of AEW. Him returning after not being on the London card for All In, which glad he finally got some vacay. What's he going to come back to that's meaningful as the ace of AEW? Someone who's been as imperative to the success of this company as literally anyone.
Sure.
This is intriguing. Hopefully this will lead more of us to tune in, and it will lead to a great match, a great rivalry. I'm intrigued, Brad. And the last storyline we had with this sort of mysterious angle was MJF and Adam Cole and who is the devil. Lots of intriguing TV. I don't know that the payoff ended up being what a lot of us had hoped for. Undisputed Kingdom only debuted in January.
Cheeks.
And already they're around, but there are factors. Adam Cole's injury, the injury. Wardlow, right? There are factors here, but in my mind, this is okay. We get another shot to do a mystery angle. This is very different than the devil, but we're gonna land the plane on this one. Fingers crossed, all participants stay healthy.
Yeah, it's a good point. The devil angle was great. I think Adam Cole getting hurt just imploded it, but it's not because of Adam Cole. It's because they decided to stick with it the entire time. They could have shelved that for a year and then brought it up later. But I think between Adam Cole's injury and MJF being super banged up after his title run, I think they had to pivot, and it ended up kind of costing them. Not to say that everybody hasn't looked great in the ring, but their characters have just been kind of bad now. Like Roderick Strong became kind of boring as a character, and that's offensive to me to even think, because that guy he's a home run. Like his in-ring work, same for the Kingdom. It's like their in-ring work has been great, but like I don't really know what their point is right now, other than they're in that faction doing what? I don't know. Why does it exist? I just think they needed to like blow it up. Just have a segment where it's like, you guys good on your own? Yeah. Shake hands and then leave. And then that's it. And Roderick Strong can come out to his old music. Because when Adam Cole comes back, if you don't play the Adam Cole theme, I'm going to riot. Because you're
not alone. Yeah, you're not alone.
Because what are you going to do now with MJF? Clearly, that has to happen. So
you just got to pivot away from it.
You can't have heel against heel and just be like, now that Max is an a-hole again, he can come back and go, I told you he was like this, and he could be the baby face and the end. So
that's true. We're a very forgiving audience as wrestling fans.
Tyler, my question, I'll get to it relatively quickly. Marina Shafir is finally doing badass stuff with Mox. The women in AEW are being showcased. It's awesome. Ricky is responding, not Ricochet, but Ricky Starks is responding to people online and touting talent in AEW, and responding now to some things that were being said about him. But there's no indication of whether or not he's actually returning. Hobbs is still out. Wardlow is MIA. Miro is still, I guess, with the company. Keith Lee is hopefully okay. With the news that most of the original Hurt Business are free agents and even potentially joining the AEW roster, what would you like to see happen with Benjamin, Lashley, and MVP with existing talent?
Wow. I would love for them to go anywhere really as a trio, but particularly in AEW. I believe there's a real need for them right now, Brad. With existing talent, I mean, they could obviously just be awesome and be a force in the trios division as their own. But if you were to Ricky
Well,
Starks,
I don't think MVP is going to wrestle.
yeah, and he's so good on the mic that he's doing his blood sport.
Yeah.
Having his
So like,
blood sport match, but who could be the
who's
third?
missing? Was it Cedric? So
Cedric, yeah,
who's
who's
the
still
Cedric?
in WWE? Who's the Cedric? Yeah. I do miss Powerhouse Hobbs. Of course, we miss Ricky Starks. I really enjoyed them as a tag team. I wish we got them as champs. They were awesome.
Yeah.
I'm staring at my Ricochet figure as I like it's giving me a lot of should I pick Ricochet? I just don't know that he would. I'm gonna go with Ricochet. I really hope he has a heel run in AEW, Brad. He could be awesome as a part of the Hurt Business. I think Ricochet. I think he's my answer. There are lots of great candidates for who could be the third in the Hurt Business, but I think he would provide such a nice contrast compared with Shelton Benjamin's in-ring style as well as Lashley's. If you have a high flyer,
Yeah,
an arrogant high flyer
yeah.
who knows he's the best high flyer in the industry, that could work really well. He already has the Hurt Business colors too.
Yeah.
Does he not? The gold and the black, very exactly. AEW.
Yeah.
Ricochet is my answer.
Or maybe he's teasing us already. Maybe he's teasing us with that.
Maybe he's teasing us already. Especially, Brad, hear me out. If the signature rivalry for Ricochet is going to be versus Ospreay, Will Ospreay's not getting booed anywhere,
right?
In these United States or elsewhere. You know this as the biggest Will Ospreay fan in my life. He's solidified as a babyface right now. This would be a great opportunity to turn Ricochet heel, do something completely different than the entirety of his WWE run.
Yeah.
And align him with the Hurt Business. I'm here for it. Did I convince you?
Yeah, no.
That's a no. Who you got?
But I don't really have much of an alternative. Like
Powerhouse Hobbs would be too similar to
Hobbs
Lashley.
is too similar to Lashley. But if we're going we're not going if we're not thinking there's an Owen Hart in this group, then if we're on the same page,
didn't even consider it.
No, me either. Leo Rush could be interesting.
What about him with Top Flight right now? They all got the matching.
So that's Layla what I was going to say. That was the next thing I was going to say. It's like after that, I would want Dante Martin in there. I don't really care about Top Flight right now.
Wow. Interesting.
Am I wrong in assuming that you think are they title contenders, Tyler, with what they've been doing? Are they at the top? Is it them and Private Party are at the top of the list of title contenders? You think they're getting booked to beat the grizzled young veterans when they kill everybody in the division?
Not a chance.
They're going to murder the Young Bucks on a pay-per-view. They're going to kill everybody on televised via satellite, the death of the Young Bucks because they're 8 feet taller than them and just awesome. There's just all of the talent that I can think of are either in trios or are already in tag teams, but along the lines of a female wrestler. Yeah, I could see Layla Gray would make sense. I suppose it's not who I want though. It's the most obvious one there is. And you're not thinking about her either because you're not thinking ROH champion. Athena makes all the sense in the world.
That's great. Why did I not look at the women's roster?
Yeah, if you're thinking
great job.
You're thinking I wasn't either. I was thinking, man,
it's fantastic.
There's nobody but Hobbs.
Right.
They're not going to stick Swerve in there.
No, he's his own entity.
No, he doesn't need
solid on the mic.
Yeah.
We're good.
But Athena's gotten so much better with promos and stuff, and her character is awesome. Yeah. I don't know that you need to mess with it, but if you want somebody that's like kind of a badass in the ring, like she got famous for killing that woman on that dark match or whatever it was.
Yes, that's right.
A while ago, and they're like, oh my god, she shotgun drop kicked her into a new planet. Like
even one of her rivals, Queen Aminata.
The Queen Aminata is who I was
totally see that being a great fit.
Yes. And she's not really doing much right now. She's in contention for all these things.
Yeah,
but there's
maybe
not
a
really
feud with Serena Deeb on the horizon.
That would be a ton of fun.
It seemed like they got something going on after that collision main event.
Yeah, and I think that would rule because they're both great, and I think it would really help establish her as a credible threat. And I would like to see more from her character, other than she is the queen of things. She came out and Freya was super excited. she's a queen. That's awesome. What's she queen of? And I was like, I don't know, wrestling. I have no idea what she's queen of. Like I can't, because like Charlotte's gonna get mad if I say that. So like I have no idea. But yeah, I would love to see. I don't know if those three really need anybody else, but if they do take on other people, I would love it to be a woman, and not to be like I'm going to talk on the mic talent, but to be kind of like Julia Hart in the House of Black and just be a member of the stable. Because I could see that being a thing in the future. House of Black versus the Hurt Business.
Sign me up.
Feels like a race war, to be honest with you, but like it's a literal fight of black and white.
Go there, but
it's a literal black and white fight. It's
House of Black.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny.
House of Black is a bunch of white people against the Hurt Business.
Okay, I hope we don't market it as that at Revolution 2025. I hope that's not how it's marketed.
Yeah, if Brody King comes out and goes, we'll see who the real House of Black is, and then that's the tagline, we're gonna have to consider whether or not we cover AEW anymore.
Wow. I think we need to talk about the Bachelorette. And there's no, speaking of pivots, we're not going to really pivot at all to this. We're just going to get to it.
I'm scared.
There's a lot to get into as you should be, Brad, as you should be.
Let's
talk about it. We got a lot to review. A rose from me.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
That was the most unhinged lead into a rose by far ever.
What do you mean?
And I'm good with it on this episode. Okay, Brad, quickly. We're coming off a 2-night extravaganza last week. Fantasy Suites and the Men Tell All. Quick recap. First, Jen predictably sent Jonathan home. Sam M, well documented on the show, is still a total heel. All of the women in my life are overjoyed that Grant is the next Bachelor. 100% approval rating right now. Hope it maintains. And Hakeem is still afraid of spiders. Both he and Jonathan received invites to be on Bachelor in Paradise, so they're fine. Marcus and Devin are the final two. Okay. Marcus is clearly not in love with Jen, and you know my feelings on Devin. We have the 3-hour finale on Tuesday.
Lord.
I think Jen will propose to Devin based on what the trailer is giving us. Brad, Marcus has wasted Jen's time. He's not ready for engagement. I'm learning that in your 30s, you become more cognizant of time and who you give your time to. As someone with a service-oriented career, an amazing wife and daughter, and many friends who love you, how do you prioritize your time? What's the disbursement? For example, I don't put as much pressure on myself anymore to respond to everyone within 24 hours or feel the need to like everyone's posts, etc. Simply, I prioritize people who support me in my pursuits. It can't just be a one-way relationship anymore. It's kind of like a MySpace top 16, but like a grown version. Like these are the people I prioritize, and everyone else I'm going to get to because I enjoy them, but I only have so much time in a day. How do you prioritize your time, my friend? Do you have a disbursement?
No. I'm very task oriented. I have to weigh things a little bit. I don't have the same kind of contact that you do. The way that I it's pretty easy for communication's sake. I am going to respond to a text almost immediately, almost every single time. I am not going to respond to a DM immediately every single time. Sometimes I see those things and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go in there right now. Or you and I, shout out to Mike. You guys will have a back and forth of 28 voice messages that will take 45 minutes to catch up on. And I'm like, I'm not.
Wow.
Like,
you're not wrong. That's accurate.
Because sometimes I have to play it and just put my phone down and let it play in the background while I do something to catch up. And then every once in a while, I'm like, I don't know if I should be playing this out loud. Who knows what's going to come in here next? And it's, it's one of those things. So I will look at those and kind of go like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's outside of the world though. But like inside of our lives, it is really challenging because we do this. This is like a joy for me. I love doing this because it's fun. It's not like a terribly time consuming thing. It eats part of my Sunday, but it's not like I'm like, what, who cares? It's really not much time. It's a couple hours, and it's mostly, when it's not this, it's waiting for things to render so I can post them, and that work is already done. And so it's just a lot of waiting around. And I'm sure you experienced that with 4AZ. It's not really the process afterward. It's the, okay, now I got to download this thing, and I got to upload this thing, and I got to do that. And did I make it make sense when I wrote the descriptions, or the chapter descriptions, or the title, or whatever it might be, the pod art, all that stuff? If you add it all together, we're looking at like 2 hours, maybe an hour over a week. It's really not much. But I also got to work, and I got to do laundry, and sometimes that toilet's got to get cleaned, and I got to do all these different things. And today, peek behind the curtain, Tyler and I usually record at 1:00. We waited a couple of hours. Tyler was gracious enough to give me that because Freya wanted to build some Legos. So I was like, hey, I said I'd rather do it early, so we have our day rather than waiting for Bash, or not Bash, No Mercy, which is currently 41 minutes into the show, that we're both missing. And I'm sure we'll talk about it next week. But it was so important to go like, no, this takes priority because she's not going to want to do this forever, I don't think. And I want to spend time with her. So it's really about going like, what is the most important thing I have to do? And really trying to keep that mindset. That also was a hard hurdle to get over with the ADD stuff, because part of ADD is like not really having full control over your executive functioning. So sometimes your brain is like, no, this task is more important. You must organize the cups. It must get done now. When it's like, there could be a fire in the back of the house. And I'm like, these lids aren't stacked correctly. I better pull them all and do it over. It's that kind of stuff where I have to go like, do I need to do this right now, or can I go do something else? So it's really putting family stuff as front forward as I possibly can. And then things that are going to benefit me and the family, or me health-wise, so I can be here for my family. It's so much easier and more difficult when you're married and have children, because it's like, those are the only two important things. But also everything is more complicated because they're there, that you have to work in all those other important things that let you manage your life for them, kind of around them. And that's the part that's challenging. It's like, when do I do that thing that's going to take an hour and a half? Okay, it's Friday night. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing in the living room. I'm back here. I feel bad I'm not with them, but I'm going to go ahead and write this thing about Joe Hendry and Beetlejuice, because otherwise I don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. And right now it needs to come out because I'm thinking about it. So it's kind of combination of a lot of things. I think you're probably much more purposeful with this stuff. You've always been much more purposeful with this stuff than I am. But I think as I get older, it's more about like, is this helpful for my family? I'm proud to say that my screen time update came up this week. And during the summer, I averaged, I don't know, like 5 hours, 6 hours on my phone every day, because I'm just doom scrolling and sitting on the couch with my phone plugged into the charger because I'm using it so much to look at it today. And I averaged like an hour and 5 minutes last week, because I've been doing other things and I've been productive. So it's really prioritizing your time. Final thought. What a great question. Final thought. It was Mr. Stephen Davis, teacher, high school English teacher, Marina High School, who was lamenting about his kids saying they don't have time to read this stuff. Really won't take long. It's like a 25-minute read at the most, but they're not reading these things for this AP literature class, which is sort of the point. And you've probably also heard him say this many times, I imagine. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you haven't learned how to make time. And I think that's always the key, especially with technology. It's, are you low on time, or have you just misplaced the time you have and put it somewhere by accident? Because time is a currency we can't accumulate. We can only spend it. So it's, if everything is transactional, what am I spending my money on? And I'm trying to get better at figuring out where am I throwing my money away? Literally throwing my time away. And where do I save it? Because at some point you got to sleep too. And sometimes that means ignoring people to get it done.
Yeah,
Long answer.
time is currency. That's the Steve Davis ism I thought you were going to hit me with first. It's accurate, and I'm feeling it more and more. What I took from, or part of what I heard from your response, is just the importance of being present.
Yeah.
And that's what I am continually trying to work on for everyone in my life who I love and care about. Just being present, even for myself, Brad, being present in the moment and always being caught up with, all the other things you can get caught up with, whether that's doom scrolling or, this or that, something that's not on my top priority list. You're on that priority list. I'm imagining probably the folks listening and watching this on my priority list. If I didn't get back to your DM, I will. I promise. Hopefully I have by the time you are hearing or watching this. But I think about it a lot. That time really is, the way you described it as money, how much do you save? How much do you spend? I think it's a really accurate way to view this, especially as you get older and you're balancing professional with personal health. And it's just a lot to do in 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I admire the way you handle it. I'm so glad you leaned into the Legos with Freya today. I think it's a very fitting, like you said, very fitting, applicable example to this topic. And obviously always make time for GI, man. This is what we're here for. Another
It's
great
so
episode.
much fun, man. Like I love being able to do this with you every week. I love being able to talk to all of the listeners and viewers last week. Shout out to them. We did pretty well last week, and it's humbling to think that even one person would sit down and spend their time listening to a couple of nobodies from Arizona that are we are somebodies in our value toward ourselves, but like to strangers in the world, like who the hell are we to have this show and to presume that we're going to do this? I think about it a lot, that people are going to spend their time listening to us or talking about wrestling with other people based on conversations we've had. I just think that's so cool. And it's not lost on me. So from the 100 plus people, sometimes 300 people, to whoever is listening to the one person, I'm just so appreciative that people spend their time with us.
I couldn't agree more. That being said, what did we miss from the week?
I don't know. Let's see. Probably nothing. We're $1:15 into this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say not a thing, Tyler, even though probably hundreds of things. I think I mentioned it already. The Mark Briscoe weather report was one of my favorite things that come out of this week. I don't know when that was filmed. It was clearly from the ROH days. But it gave me a great deal of joy. Freya couldn't stop laughing at lightning, like cackling that child at him trying to get there, and then holding a rubber dolphin figurine is the only thing that saved him. Just, I don't know. That man needs to be protected at all costs. I really love Mark Briscoe.
That he does. It was a great find. Great shout by you. You beat me to this. What do we miss this week? You can find it at gimmickinfringementpod.com, the writing section. Brad's latest piece. Say his name and he appears, discussing Joe Hendry's year, Beetlejuice hitting theaters soon, and all that they share in common. Another great piece, my friend.
Thank you.
It's what we're here for. It's wrestling. It's culture. You know how we do. If you haven't already seen it, check out Brad's latest article. Brad, anything you wanted to say about your piece? Any words about your words before we get out of here?
No, it's just like it hit me. I was watching the trailer for Beetlejuice that came up, and it's like, you can't say his name or whatever it was, or don't say his name was in the trailer. And I was like, wait a second.
This sounds familiar.
Wait a second. Is this actually gimmick infringement? I feel like this is our bread and butter here. How did they not do a crossover already? It was right there. And I mean, maybe there's a conflict with, I don't have a clue who owns Beetlejuice. I assume Warner Brothers Discovery, since it was all over our screens during AEW. It was, I think it was during that time. I can't remember, but yeah, man, like it just felt like a no-brainer to try to compare the two. And I thought, like, well, Beetlejuice is an unwelcome guest. Is Joe Hendry overexposure going to become a thing? I hope not. And then as soon as that happened, the debut of the Hardys with Joe Hendry in an entrance was exactly what I was hoping for, to kind of stem the overexposure by making something unique and new. And it was just so good. I love this run for him. I just think it's so cool. And I'm really excited for the film, but I love that they had this like accidental overlap at the same time. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can follow us online at GIPod19 for exclusive updates about the show. As Brad mentioned, we thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.